The biggest team, the biggest coverage. This is Fox 31 News at 9:30.
Good morning, 9:30, and we want to start with breaking news here this Wednesday morning. Just coming into our newsroom, we've confirmed State House Minority Leader Mike Lynch is stepping down from his post as Minority Leader.
Huge update, and this comes after news broke last week that he was arrested for speeding and driving under the influence back in 2022, but nobody knew about it, and it was just discovered. Drew's on it with more. This was after a push to get him out of that position.
You're right. Here's a statement that was sent to us, again, just a few minutes ago. This is why we keep it live and local for you here on Fox. The first to tell you about this breaking news in our State House. But as Kirk was talking about, earlier this week, Lynch narrowly overcame a vote of no confidence from his fellow Republican lawmakers. Monday's vote was an even 9-9 split, and in a tie, the vote fails. So that's as narrow a vote as you can get. Part of this statement that was just sent to us here, it is with a heavy heart that I make this decision, but I firmly believe that our caucus is stronger when we stand and fight together for the people of Colorado. Again, that's part of the statement that he just sent to our newsroom. Now, it's important to point out here, Lynch announced that he will step down from his post as Minority Leader. He will keep his position in the State House as a representative, represented folks in Larimer and Weld County. So again, this comes after the news broke last week. He was arrested for speeding and DUI. That was back in 2022. And it's important to point out here, Kirk and Ashley, Republicans, his fellow lawmakers who called for this no confidence vote, say it was needed because he did not disclose that arrest. Again, you're talking back in 2022 before he was elected. He was just elected in 2023 as Minority Leader. So Kirk and Ashley, he was clearly facing pressure from his fellow lawmakers to step down. As close as you can get in a vote on Monday, 9-9, it was a tie, this no confidence vote. So the tie means the vote fails. But I think facing this pressure from fellow lawmakers is part of this decision that we just got minutes ago, that he will step down. Again, it's important to note, as Minority Leader, not as his post as representative, but as Minority Leader. We just learned that, and of course we'll be covering this breaking news story throughout.
And you have to wonder if he saw the writing on the wall and said, well, I'd rather step down than be ousted, so let's just get this over with. I mean, who knows? I think we'll learn a lot more throughout the day today. Thanks, Drew.
Taking a live look outside, a little bit of clouds this morning, but still sun is shining. We have a nice day ahead, but we are talking about snow in the high country today, and also possibly that same system making its way to the metro, Kylie.
Exactly, but not until Friday morning. It's not looking all that impactful. Still a little bit of reduced visibility out over the eastern plains. We are still under that dense fog advisory for at least another hour and a half for southeastern Colorado. Backus and Shaker camera right now, we are in the upper 30s, 38 degrees in Denver with good visibility. That wind is fairly light, so that's kind of what you can expect for today. A mix of sun and clouds. Temperatures this morning not quite to the 40s just yet, but we'll get there a little bit later on today. Upper 40s and low 50s on tap for this afternoon. So 50 degrees is where we land. Sun, clouds, a little bit of flurry action up in the mountains with a big warm up coming after a little bit of snow on Friday. We'll talk more about that with my 7-day coming up.
All right, Kelly, thank you. Well, developing this morning, deputies now looking for a man suspected of putting in skimmers at ATMs at least one local bank. And this is video here. He may have hit other places, too.
Well, you think about it when it comes to gas stations, but it's not often we hear about these things being installed at banks, especially when you have so much security at a bank. Jim Hooley is on it in Castle Rock this morning. And, you know, Jim, I think most of us who live in Castle Rock, it's going to make me think twice before I go to the bank machine or go to the gas station that it's happening in our community.
Yeah, you just pull the card out and you just stick it in there, and you know, all of a sudden all your information could be gone into somebody else's hand. That's the problem. You know, you got these bank ATMs. This is a little different when he hit the bank ATM. Usually it is at the gas station. But what do we got at the bank? We got a lot of cameras, and here's the photo. Here's the picture that we have. This image of this guy that they're looking for this morning down here in Douglas County. What he did was he tried to install the skimmer, but he actually ended up damaging the machine itself, and that turned out to be a good thing, because in the end nobody was able to come and use it, so nobody ended up getting ripped off. Investigators say he took off in a dark colored BMW. He was driving a BMW, and they believe that he may have been trying to install skimmers at other locations here in Douglas County as well, and that is really the concern. The skimmers, as you know, are those fake card readers that can grab all your card information and eventually all your money too, if they're installed at the bank, the gas station, the grocery store. So here's what you need to know, and this is what you should do so you can avoid being a victim. Double check the card machine before you put your card in it. If it looks like it's loose, you can jiggle it. If it's damaged in some way, don't don't use it in any way, shape, or form. Report it right away to wherever you're at, the bank, the store, the clerk there, and then make sure authorities are alerted. Again, this guy got caught. It's a great picture. He just forgot to smile, I guess, when he was here at the bank. They got a good picture of him, a good picture of his car. If you recognize him in any way, shape, or form, please contact investigators down here in Douglas County. The real concern, as we said, is the fact that he's out there and he may be trying to do it at other locations. In Castle Rock this morning, I'm Jim Hooley, Fox 31.
All right. Yeah, good warning. Thank you, Jim.
Well, take a look at this. An SUV plowing right into an apartment building. This was in Arapahoe County. Well, now the neighbors who live in that apartment unit don't have a place to stay. This was at South Dayton and East Colorado yesterday morning, right before noon. Pictures from the scene show that SUV went straight into someone's main room. Thankfully, no one was hurt, but the 3 people who live there have a lot of cleaning up to do. Firefighters spent much of the afternoon trying to stabilize the building. The cause of the crash is under investigation. From the Fox 31 Problem Solvers this morning, a Green Valley Ranch mom of 5 is without a home after 80 gallons of water flooded her apartment.
Jasmine Douglas says a fire sprinkler at the Redstone Ranch Apartments was triggered on January 13th, causing more than $20,000 in damage. She says her apartment complex only gave her a night's stay at a hotel and a return deposit. Right now, the family is staying with friends, but they say that's just a temporary solution.
All of our clothes, all of our beds, my work laptop, both of my work laptops, the children's school laptops, their PlayStation, furniture, or anything anyone has to give so I can create a sense of stability for my children.
Douglas also lost her grandfather's ashes to the flooding. She says the flooding occurred as she was transferring insurance companies, so she had no coverage. A GoFundMe has been set up to help the family. If you'd like to help, that link is on our website, kdvr.com. The cause of the sprinklers going off is still under investigation.
The door closed. Whoa! Whoa!
What the heck? Have you seen this yet?
Crazy.
Nuts, nuts, nuts. This is caught on camera, an intense scene showing a huge rogue wave crashing through a U.S. Army base in the Marshall Islands between Hawaii and Australia. Water filling the facility in a matter of seconds, knocking over furniture. You can see it knocking people off their feet, busting out windows and doors. This was over the weekend. Thankfully, believe it or not, nobody was seriously hurt, which is hard to believe when you see how much damage
Look
those
at that.
waves
That's
do.
crazy.
Just a matter of seconds. We had this up for 20 seconds, and
Yeah.
that's filled with water. Nuts. Gun shop out in Kentucky now facing a lawsuit after one of its customers shot and killed 5 co-workers last April.
Well, Connor Sturgeon bought an AR-15 style rifle, 120 rounds and 4 cartridges, 6 days before the shootings, even though he was known to struggle with mental illness. He even wrote about it in his journal. He also wrote that he was amazed how easy it was to buy the gun. The victims' families contend that the gun store had a duty to withhold the gun sale to him.
A passenger on a plane in North Carolina arrested after police say he made a bomb threat while on board. The American Airlines flight to Miami was supposed to leave Charlotte Douglas Airport yesterday afternoon, but police say the passenger made the threat right before takeoff. Passengers then removed from the flight. Charlotte's bomb unit swept the plane for explosives. No threat was found. The plane made it safely to its destination last night.
The FAA is now investigating after a Delta Airlines plane lost one of its tires just before takeoff. This was Saturday at Hartsfield-Jackson Airport in Atlanta. The Boeing 757 plane was taxiing just before takeoff when the tire under the front nose fell off and rolled down an embankment. The plane then returned to the terminal. Passengers were put on another aircraft. No one was hurt.
We've got new information this morning. Scientists say the end of the world remains as close as ever.
Oh, geez.
Well, hold on. The experts...
That's scary.
We're gonna
Is
break
it a
it
doom
down.
clock? Oh,
Yeah,
it
it's
is.
the doomsday clock.
No.
The experts who maintain the symbolic doomsday clock, leaving the time at 90 seconds to midnight, mainly due to the war in Ukraine, the deterioration of nuclear arms agreements, climate change, and artificial intelligence.
The risks of last year continue with unabated ferocity and continue to shape this year. Today, we once again set the doomsday clock to express a continuing and unprecedented level of risk. It is 90 seconds to midnight.
It's more of an urgent call, they say, for the world to act before it's too late. The clock created by the Bulletin of the Atomic Scientists back in 1947. It uses the imagery of the apocalypse as midnight, and the countdown conveys threats to humanity and threats to our world.
New this morning, New York is the greatest city in the world, at least according to a new ranking by Time Out magazine. The publication combines surveys from locals and insights from more than 100 Time Out writers, also editors all around the world. The Big Apple taking the #1 spot for its nightlife, food, drink, culture, and beauty. Following New York was Cape Town, South Africa, Berlin, Germany, London, England, and Madrid, Spain. Trending this morning, business and review website Yelp has ranked the top 100 places to eat this year.
4 spots in Colorado.
All right.
Making that list. The highest ranked in Colorado is Tandoori Kitchen in Lafayette, which is an Indian restaurant. Lower on the list at number 57 is Levin Deli in Denver. Then there's the Denver Poke Company at 79. And finally, Garden Grace.
Oh, we love
Denver.
Garden Grace.
Well, Troy Gard is our buddy. He's the guy that made it. In Denver, of course, they round out the restaurants list at number 94. So good to see some representation from Colorado. I would argue there's probably many others that belong on that list, but this is Yelp, so it's, you know.
It's a little bit different, but still, I mean, to have that, you know, all over the country, and that's where we're popping. It's great.
That's awesome.
And hey, we've got a little bit of a busy forecast here. We've got snow on the way and 60s in the 7-day. I'll break it all down for you coming up here in just a few.
We'll have avalanche problems out toward the southwestern corner of the state where a man has died. I'll give you more details on that coming up in just a few minutes.
Coming up in your tech news on this Wednesday morning, Google adding some artificial intelligence into the web browser. I'm going to show you how it works and how you can turn it on inside Chrome.